The Champions League is back again, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for the 6th match day in the UCL League phase. In today's video, I'm going to be predicting every single scoreline for all the matches in the 6th match day. And obviously, if you guys agree with my predictions, remember to leave a comment down below. But if you disagree with my predictions, remember to leave your predictions in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to reply to every single comment. There's going to be a few crazy fixtures this match day, so I think I'm going to have some pretty crazy predictions. But without further ado, let's get right into this video. Starting off with the first match, we have Dinamo Zagreb against Celtic. Dinamo Zagreb haven't been too bad so far in this Champions League, while Celtic, on the other hand, have gotten a few really good results, but they've also gotten a few pretty poor results as well. We've seen Celtic play pretty poorly in some games, and especially in their recent game against Club Brugge, which a lot of people expected them to win that game, but it did end in a 1-1 draw. Because Dinamo Zagreb have the home advantage, I'm going to predict that this game will also end in a 1-1 draw. Moving on to the next match, we have Girona against Liverpool. Liverpool, in my opinion, has been the best team in the world so far this season, and currently in the Champions League, they do sit in first place on the league table, having won every single game so far. And it's not like Liverpool have had easy games. We've seen them versus Milan, they versus Leverkusen, and a few other very challenging teams, and they have been able to easily beat any team that they've come up against. Girona didn't do good in the last match day where they lost 1-0 against Sturm Graz, so even though they do have the home advantage, I think this will be a pretty comfortable win for Liverpool, as I think they're going to win 3-1. Moving on to the next match, we have a crazy game between Atalanta and Real Madrid. This game, in my opinion, is going to be a very close game because Real Madrid, at the start of the season, a lot of people thought that they were going to easily win this Champions League with their new addition of Kylian Mbappe. But so far, as the season has progressed, they haven't really been able to get things together, and even Kylian Mbappe hasn't been performing that well. On the other hand, Atalanta, in my opinion, has been a top 5 team so far this season. They have been playing so good. Their attackers, Retegui, Lookman, De Ketelaere, have been scoring goals for fun. They have been going crazy. And in this game, with the home advantage, I think they're going to upset Real Madrid. I'm going to predict that this is a very high scoring game, and Atalanta win this game 3-2. Moving on to the next game, it is another crazy fixture between Bayer Leverkusen and Inter Milan. After having one of the best seasons of any team in recent history last year, where Leverkusen went undefeated throughout the whole Bundesliga season, so far this season, they haven't been performing as good as expected. They have been drawing a lot of games, and in some games, they're having real trouble scoring. On the other hand, Inter Milan currently sits second place in this Champions League, and they still have not conceded a single goal. They are the only team that has still not conceded any goals so far in their first 5 matches. And yes, they also haven't been scoring a lot of goals, but just because they haven't been conceding means that they have been doing very well in most games, and that's why they sit in second place. I think this game is going to be really tough for Leverkusen because Inter Milan, in terms of their defensive lineup, is absolutely incredible. So for that reason, I'm going to predict that this game is going to end in a 1-1 draw. Moving on to the next game, we have Brest against PSV Eindhoven. PSV did very well in the last game to beat Shakhtar after scoring 3 goals near the end of the game. 2 goals from Malik Tillman and 1 goal from Pepe, and they did very good. But for some reason in this game, I feel like Brest is going to get the better of PSV. Brest have been surprising everyone so far in this Champions League. They have been doing very well, much better than expected, and with the home advantage, I think they will beat PSV 1-0. The next game we got is Club Brugge against Sporting. Sporting did not do good in their last game against Arsenal, where they lost 5-1. It was a very poor performance by them. And after beating Man City 4-1, a lot of people thought that they would do very good against Arsenal. But obviously they did lose their manager Ruben Amorim, who went to Manchester United. And it looks like this could prove to be a little bit of a loss for Sporting, as they haven't been performing so well recently. But even though they're winless in their last 3 games, I still think Sporting will have what it takes to beat Club Brugge in this game. I think they are a better team. They do have some incredible players, so I'm going to predict that Sporting win this game 2-1. Moving on to the next game, we have RB Leipzig against Aston Villa. RB Leipzig have been one of the worst teams so far in this Champions League, and from their first 5 games, they have lost every single game. Now, to be fair, they have had probably the hardest matches out of any other team. They've had to verse Atletico Madrid, Juventus, Liverpool, Celtic, and Inter Milan, who are all some of the best teams in this competition. But they still have been playing very poorly, and for how good they've been doing in the Bundesliga, in the Champions League, they have not been doing good at all. Aston Villa, on the other hand, have been a little bit inconsistent in recent weeks, and they haven't been performing that well. But RB Leipzig, in my opinion, this will be another loss for them, and I think Aston Villa will win this game 2-0. Moving on to the next game, we have Salzburg against PSG. Similar to RB Leipzig, Salzburg have also been very, very poor in this Champions League, and they've only gotten 1 win from their first 5 games. But PSG haven't been that much better. They've also only won 1 game from their first 5 games, which is really, really unexpected for a very high quality, very expensive team like PSG. And for a team that's doing so good in the Liga, it's very unexpected for them to do this poor in the Champions League. But in this game, I think PSG definitely have the upper hand against Salzburg. And even though Salzburg do have the home advantage, I'm going to predict another 2-0 win for PSG. Moving on to the next game, we have Shakhtar Donetsk against Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich currently sit in 13th place, having gotten 3 wins and 2 losses from their first 5 games. And in the Bundesliga, they do sit in 1st place. I think Bayern Munich have been pretty good this season, but we have seen a little bit of inconsistency where we can see them beat some very good teams. But on the other hand, in recent weeks especially, they have not been performing that good, and we've already seen them get a few losses. Shakhtar did play pretty good in the last game against PSV, but they were pretty unlucky to lose that game. And in this game, again, I think they're going to play pretty well and score multiple goals. But I think Bayern Munich will end up winning this game 3-2. The next game we got is Atletico Madrid against Slovan Bratislava. Slovan Bratislava actually played pretty good against AC Milan in the last match day, and they were very, very close to getting a point from that game. But obviously it did end with another loss, which is the 5th loss for Slovan Bratislava, as they do currently sit near the bottom of the Champions League table. Atletico Madrid went crazy last game. They scored 6 goals. They went absolutely wild. And in this game, I do think it will be a goal fest again. I'm going to predict Atletico Madrid to win this game 4-1. The next game we got is Lille against Sturm Graz. Sturm Graz surprised a lot of people in the last match day, where they ended up beating Brest, who have been one of the best teams so far in this UCL. But in this game, I don't think they'll have what it takes to beat Lille. Lille have been pretty good so far in this Champions League, getting 3 wins from their first 5 games. But 2 of those wins came against Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid, which were very impressive performances by Lille, and especially their striker Jonathan David. And in this game, with the home advantage, I think this will be a pretty comfortable win for them, 2-1. The next game we got is AC Milan against Red Star Belgrade. Red Star Belgrade are a pretty common team in these UEFA competitions, but usually they don't really do too well. When on the other hand, AC Milan, who didn't start off that good, have really been stepping up their game in recent weeks, as we've seen them beat Real Madrid and Slovan Bratislava in the last 2 match days. In this game with the home advantage, I think this will be a very easy win for AC Milan. I think they will win this game 3-0. Moving on to the next game, we have Arsenal against AS Monaco. Monaco have surprised a lot of people so far in this Champions League, and currently they sit in 8th place, having won already 3 games from their first 5 matches, which most people didn't expect because Monaco are a very good team. But in these UEFA competitions, they usually aren't as good as some of the better teams. But so far, they've been competing with the best of the best. But I do think that Monaco caught Arsenal on a bad time, because Arsenal in recent weeks have been very, very good, scoring loads of goals. We saw them put 5 past Sporting. They put a few past United just last week. And in this game, I do think they will beat Monaco 2-0. The next game we got is Benfica against Bologna. Benfica didn't have the best start to this Champions League, but in recent weeks, they have been playing much better. When Bologna, on the other hand, I've already said this so many times, they have been one of the worst teams in the world. After an incredible season last year where they finished top 5 in the Serie A, so far this season, they have been playing shit in the Serie A, and in the Champions League, they currently sit in 33rd place, having gotten 0 wins from their first 5 games. Bologna have been very, very disappointing, and for that reason, I think Benfica will win this game 2-1. The next game we got is a highly anticipated match between Borussia Dortmund and Barcelona. I think Borussia Dortmund are a very good team, and Barcelona in recent weeks has been a little bit inconsistent, and we've seen them lose a few games in the La Liga. But in the Champions League, they've been one of the best teams in the world. Their attacking 3 of Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Lamine Yamal is, in my opinion, the best front 3 in the world. They have been so good, and in this game against Borussia Dortmund, even though they're playing away, I think Barcelona will win this game 4-2. Moving on to the next game, we have Feyenoord against Sparta Prague. In the last game, we saw incredible scenes from Feyenoord, where they ended up coming back against Manchester City, as Man City were up 3-0, But Feyenoord, within the last 15 minutes, scored 3 goals and ended up drawing that game 3-3. That was obviously a crazy game by Feyenoord. But other than that game, both in the Eredivisie and in the Champions League, they've been a little bit inconsistent, where we've seen them play incredibly like in the last game, but we've also seen them play very, very poorly and lose to some teams which they really should be winning against. On the other hand, Sparta Prague haven't really been that impressive, and they've only gotten 1 win from their first 5 games. So for that reason, even though I just mentioned the inconsistencies of Feyenoord, I think they will win this game pretty comfortably, 3-1. Moving on to the next game, we have Juventus against Manchester City. Man City have been unexpectedly poor within the last month, where in their last 8 games, we've seen them lose 6 of these games and they've only gotten 1 win. Currently, they sit 17th place in the Champions League, only 2 places ahead of Juventus, and they have been very, very bad. But in this game, I do think they will just be able to beat Juventus. Obviously, Juventus do have the home advantage, and for that reason, I think it will be a very, very close game. I think both of these teams will be going at it the whole game. I think it will be a very high-scoring game, but I do think Manchester City will just edge it over Juventus. I think Man City will win 3-2. And finally, the last game we got is Stuttgart against Young Boys. Stuttgart did so poorly in the last game, where they lost 5-1 against Red Star Belgrade. That was a horrible game by Stuttgart. And so far, in general, in this Champions League, they haven't really been that good. But Young Boys currently sit last place in the Champions League phase. They haven't gotten any wins from the first 5 games. They have lost every single game, conceding 17 goals in 5 games. They have been conceding loads of goals, and for that reason, I'm going to predict that Stuttgart to win this game 2-1. And that is the end of my Champions League predictions for the 6th match day in the UCL League phase. If you guys agree with my predictions, remember to leave a comment down below. But obviously, if you disagree with my predictions and you think there may be a few upsets here and there, again, remember to leave your predictions in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to reply to every single comment. And obviously, if you guys did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.